This is Razorberry. This thing is basically the combination of the Moto Razr Plus 2024. Yes, it'll also work with the standard Razr 24 and the Razr 2023 Plus. And this nifty Bluetooth keyboard here we have, made from old spare parts from, well, in this case, the BlackBerry Classic. An old keyboard that was destined to never see the light of day again, dusting away in some abandoned warehouse somewhere, now gets a new service life for as long as the keys keep typing. Because since this is a standalone Bluetooth keyboard, it's not ever prone to being EOL, so end of life, when it comes to software updates. Now, in this case, what keeps those two things together? Let's flip around to the back and see. Just two things, really. We have two metal plates, $5 on Amazon, and a magnetic pop socket, MagSafe, $25 on Amazon. The entire setup with the keyboard will run you $80 or less. So let me explain. Keyboard itself is going for $45 plus shipping, roughly $12 to $15. And then you have the battery you need to buy separately, as well as the, metal plates and pop socket. When the phone is closed, it's more like a BlackBerry Classic Frankenstein edition. But when you open the thing up, it's even taller than that device that you see on the wallpaper. This setup was not put in place to use it open, though you definitely can, but the balance is not going to be even close to what it is when closed. Originally, I was using this keyboard with a slab device. I just wanted to take the experience a step further with the device that would be as short as possible so that the center of gravity is as low as it can be. Now, technically, the center of gravity is still a little bit above center because most of the mass is definitely on the phone side, but it's more than good enough so that it doesn't tip forward out of your hand. So when you're actually holding it in a natural position, it's not really going to tip forward out of your hand. It may just a little bit, but not to the point where you'll drop the device. You don't need to do much to keep it secure to your hand. Not so much the case when you open the thing. Here it gets very top heavy. I don't think Motorola has a secondary battery cell on the top half of the phone, but there's definitely something going on there, materials, motherboard, or whatever the case might be, that makes this thing very top heavy when open. Now, it still works, similar to clicks for iPhone. You do get your full screen, in this case, 6.9-inch display, and the keyboard to go with it. Now, let's do a quick typing demonstration on the thing. Your standard keyboard shortcuts are there as well. With this particular firmware, on the bottom right, the shift key actually acts as a command or a control key. So if I just click it once, I can do select all with A. I can then hit select X for cut, V for paste. Of course, C will just copy. If I start making some changes to the text, I can simply hold down this shift key or command key now and hit the Z for undo and Y for redo. So these are the standard keyboard shortcuts that you would expect from any device, and they are here with the Razorberry. Now, about that trackpad, in this firmware, of course, if I click Alt and then hold down the 0 key, the trackpad comes to life. Now, the cursor may look a little different depending on if you're in a text field or outside of it. Sometimes it'll just be a standard arrow. And it does work well. So you can click and hold the trackpad, and when you let go, that would be your selection. There might be another way to do it with holding down the shift key, possibly. I don't really edit text in this fashion, but it can be done. I can even highlight more. Well, if you just use the trackpad itself, it's how far you can go with your finger, but it does work. And then you can hit backspace or Control Y for undo and all of that, or redo. Well, that's Control Z actually. The trackpad is interesting because without the keyboard, you would have to hit or hold down the home button or home navigation bar, and then you would be able to touch that. With the trackpad enabled, nothing is out of reach now. You can reach every touch target or every button menu that might be underneath, as long as you know it's right there. It can be done. This can be very useful in some apps that don't like to be scaled in this way, where this is basically a landscape orientation at this point, kind of more reminiscent of those old BlackBerry Bolds. In any case, the main reason why I don't use a trackpad is because, it wakes the phone if you so much as graze that little thing. So if you just barely tap it, the screen gets awakened. In your pocket, it would likely get woken up by something brushing up against the trackpad there. And this will use up more battery, of course. But even aside from that, when the trackpad's enabled, the CPU is kept awakened a lot more. And therefore, that will lead to more battery drain in itself. Which is why I would recommend using the trackpad if you need to get a lot of text done, and then just hitting Alt and holding down 0 to make it disappear, disable it before putting the phone away in your pocket. Once it's disabled, that won't happen. This is just the always on display. So, is this something you want to get into? Well, if you're patient enough to wait for the keyboard to come in, because it does ship from Germany, so it takes a couple of weeks, and if you're willing to, of course, get the other parts needed for the setup, such as the pill-shaped MagSafe pop socket, as well as the metal plates and the battery to go with it, then yes, I think this could be something that you'll definitely be enjoying if you're looking for that detox from your smartphone, minimalist, retro, kind of nostalgic feel, all the while being modern and viable that you can use with all your modern apps and is regularly updated. Moving forward, really the only options at this present time of recording is a Bluetooth-enabled keyboard such as this one, or the Clicks for iPhone keyboard case, which I would recommend that if you're using an iPhone. For anyone else using an Android phone, you may want to look into this Bluetooth keyboard attachment, maybe until something else comes through. Either way, I'll be covering anything that pertains to smartphones with physical keyboards. And let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time.